In a quiet village carved between mountains and mist, there lived a strange kind of weather, one the world had nearly forgotten. Here, the rain did not fall from the sky. It rose from the earth. Tiny droplets lifted upward like 1,000 silver lanterns, drifting from the soil, from the stones, from the cracks between tree roots, rising as if pulled gently by a memory trying to return home. The villagers grew used to it. They stepped aside as droplets floated past their feet, held out empty palms to feel the cool mist rising, watched as streams reversed direction and flowed like clear smoke into the clouds. But there was one person in this village who understood the rain differently. The rain collector. He never walked the village streets. He never stood in the square. He stayed inside a small wooden house at the edge of a whispering forest, where the rising rain drifted like ghosts through the trees. The collector gathered the rising droplets in small glass jars of every shape and size. Some were clear as frozen air. Some were clouded from age. Some glowed faintly, as though a fragment of light were trapped inside. On the shelves of his home, the jars shimmered quietly, each holding a single captured raindrop, and inside each drop, a memory. For the rain that rose from the ground was not water at all. It was the weight people buried. Forgotten joy, unspoken heartbreak, moments too painful to hold, longing pressed so deeply into the earth it eventually climbed back out in search of its owner. Each jar held a feeling that someone in the village could no longer bear. There were jars filled with soft gold light, childhood wonder, frozen in a moment that would never return. There were jars filled with pale blue mist, sorrow left behind after a quiet goodbye. There were jars so dark they seemed carved from night, things someone wished they had never felt at all. The collector kept them safe, not to trap them, but to keep them from returning to the wrong person before they were ready. On a certain morning, when the fog clung to the forest like a sigh, a jar began to tremble on his shelf. A soft hum vibrated through the wooden room. The glass flickered with a faint pulse, as if something inside it had finally remembered its name. The collector lifted the jar gently. Inside the droplet, a swirl of color churned, silver, gold, and deep blue blending like liquid emotion. He placed the jar on an old table lit by a single oil lamp. Its flame trembled as though the memory inside the jar was a wind from another time. He knew this jar. He had always known it. This was the one memory he had collected from the earth, but never dared to open. A memory he had buried so deeply that even the ground seemed reluctant to give it back. He watched the droplet swirl faster and faster until images began to rise from the glass. A wooden toy, a handwritten letter never sent, footprints in snow that ended too soon, a candle burned down to nothing. The collector's hands trembled. He leaned closer, breath unsteady. He had promised himself he would never open this jar. Some memories, after all, are not collected, they are avoided. But the jar kept pulsing, brighter and brighter, as though insisting that the time had finally come. He reached toward the lid. The lamp flickered. The fog tightened around the house. The rising rain outside drifted in slow motion as if holding its breath. With a soft click, he opened the jar. The droplet floated upward, glowing like a small star, vibrating with the force of a memory that had waited far too long. It burst gently in the air with the softness of a held-in breath. Light spilled across the room, a warm, aching glow as scenes unfolded without faces, without people, only the objects that remained. A toy carved with trembling hands, a bed left neatly made, a wooden door that once opened to laughter that would never echo again, an unfinished drawing folded carefully in a box. The memory was clear because its pain had never faded, and now it had nowhere left to hide. The collector stepped back as the room filled with a warmth he had not felt in years. The light gathered into a shape, not a person, but the outline of a life he once held close. It hovered, glowing, beautiful, then slowly began to drift upward toward the ceiling, toward the sky. The collector watched as the memory that once broke him rose into the air and left through the window like a gently released sigh. For the rain in this village did not fall because of weather. It fell because the earth remembered what the heart tried to forget. And it rose when it was finally time to let it go. When the last shimmer of light disappeared, the house grew quiet. The jars on the shelves stilled, their contents humming softly with the rhythm of forgiveness. The collector walked outside. The mist parted for him with something like respect. And for the first time in years, a single droplet of rising rain touched his hand and continued upward without needing to be collected. Some memories, after all, are not meant to be held. Some memories are meant to rise.